This is the end of the United Arab Emirates. Let me explain. The first thing to understand is that other than Israel, the United Arab Emirates is actually being attacked the most by Iran in terms of missiles. This is partly because the United Arab Emirates is very close. Dubai, for instance, is much closer than Qatar or Bahrain. And also because the United Arab Emirates is very closely allied with Israel. This is something that's often done in secret, but is nevertheless the case. The reason why the United Arab Emirates is also so screwed, though, is because of the closing of the Strait of Hormuz. Those of us who do not live in the Arabian Peninsula, we're all worried about oil prices, but think of the traffic going the other way, ships delivering goods to the Gulf countries. Now, how are you going to get, for instance, things like food into the United Arab Emirates? Now, this is an issue that all Gulf countries face, but there's something that's quite more particular about the United Arab Emirates. If you look at a map, for instance, of course, countries like Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, along with the United Arab Emirates, they all border Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia could, for instance, at least supply some goods via the Red Sea and then across over land. But the thing is, the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia do not get along. You know, back in December, the two countries had a falling out when they started fighting each other back in Yemen, and that fighting has not stopped. The two countries still do not get along. So why would Saudi Arabia, for instance, provide any assistance to the United Arab Emirates? Now, the UAE also does border Oman, but the area borders is actually quite hilly, if not mountainous, if you look at a terrain map. So I think that, for instance, getting goods in through Oman will be very difficult. The third thing is also that the United Arab Emirates has a very large population of so-called foreign workers, aka immigrants. Of all the Gulf countries, the United Arab Emirates is pretty much tied with Qatar in terms of its population that is quote-unquote foreign, around 15% depending on the measure you look at. Now, immigrants want to make a good living and they want to contribute to society, but they also have the option of, for instance, leaving and going back to their home country of their citizenship. And so once these airports open, for instance, in the United Arab Emirates, you're going to see these people return home. And if they can't return home and their wages are being cut, I wouldn't be surprised, for instance, if you saw these people taking up arms and getting angry at their government. So for all these reasons, the tons of missiles that are heading, the closing of the Strait of Hormuz, that's going to lead to less goods and not having Saudi Arabia as an option, and finally the high immigrant population. This is why the United Arab Emirates is screwed.